Welcome back to our continued coverage of the Nordic Championship Summer 2019, brought to you from the Monster Energy DreamHack studio. And it's day number 4 where we just watched Dusty take down MJ. And for the second match of the day, I'll get to that one in just a short while after a small results update of the off-stream matches. Falcon 2-0'd Nordavind. The final triad went 2-0 against Copenhagen Flames and 2-0s across the board as Ventus took down Iceland by defeating FH 2-0. But for the match to come now, it's Celestial versus Neon Esports. Norway versus Finland, a both second seed. Trouble, make sense out of Neon Esports for me, will you? Because we've watched them for quite a bit now.
And you know what? They lost the first game pretty destructively. I want to say they went 0-2 versus Falcon, who's considered one of the stronger teams in our tournament. But then they managed to chain 2 wins back to back, one against Dusty 2-0 and one against F8 2-1. Now, some key features about the team is, well, mainly is Yameru, who has played 4 different champions in 4 different games and dominated on every single one. And we've got a majority of pretty much everything. We've got the control maids in Azir, we've got the assassins in Diana and Kiana, we've got the Corki up in there. He's playing pretty much anything and everything. Now, our big point of criticizing was Haru in the top lane and how his karma was not really working. Maybe he should go on something that, can impact the game a little bit more. Once he picked up on the GP and the Mordekaiser, they were able to chain a 2-0 quick swift victory against Dusty. But the only problem that I'm seeing here is the proactivity of the bot lane. They do enjoy playing these very safe lanes, I want to say. And sometimes you could potentially get Sona Tamkens, which they scale more than you in the late game, and that could be their downfall. But of course, we also going to go into picks and bans, and Celestial came in. Norway second, if I'm not wrong, right?
Norway's second seed indeed, and back in round 1, Celestial came out swinging against the Copenhagen Flames in game number 1 in what appeared to be the Norwegian second seed, roaring out the potential of Norway at the start of the season. But Copenhagen Flames, they said no. They quit their weird drafts and stopped Celestial dead in their tracks in 2 consecutive stomps. So their dreams died in that first match there. And since then, both FH from Iceland and Falcon from Sweden also rejected Celestial's approach, and they find themselves at the bottom of the standings. Remember now that MJ and Dusty tied for second to last place, I should say. They show that they're a fairly predictable and exploitable team. More times than not, we saw tunnel visioning beyond belief, and they appear to fall off over the course of the best of threes, despite a potential early opener. The 4-man squad since last season is obviously still intact, with Dakaret coming in as the jungler, actually running Dipsy, a substitute, I believe, but I'm not going to overspeak here. For Celestial Gaming. And picks and bans are indeed underway. So that's Karma, Vladimir, and Akali removed from Celestial, with Aatrox, Camille, as well as Irelia now taken away. So this leaves a bunch of priority picks trouble.
And who made Kiana look very good last time, last minute? It was in the hands of Yameru. So if you can't potentially pick it up here, it could potentially be a first pick. It is going to be the cat, though. Yumi being locked in for Tiara down the bot lane, and I wasn't expecting anything different. We talked about their bot lane, and we talked about how they're playing the most passive game available to them. Now, on the other hand, there's been a little bit of criticizing for Celestial, where their players have played every champion available in the league, and then they were still not able to pick any win in the tournament. So they've been swapping and changing their champions every single game back to back in a best of 3. Like, no single player has played the same champion in the same best of 3 series, and yet still they cannot pick a win. So maybe some trouble there drafting, maybe some trouble in the execution. We are going to see here Ezreal going to be snatched away from the Yumi, because this is a great lane to play. But another great lane is also the Sevilla, who is unbanned still and might get picked up here from Azita.
Yeah, we're most likely going to see that that Sivir. Those are the two classical picks that you run along with that Yumi, and we seem to see a pretty consistent tendency by most of these teams to put high priority on bot support and jungle in the first pick phase. So there it is.
There we
There
go.
is that Sivir, which should leave okay, never mind. To secure the
Yes.
Gangplank pick, which is also, remember, it could be flexed to the mid side depending on which matchup you want to go. So locking in a Gangplank this early, what does this tell Celestial Gaming?
I mean, I don't doubt that America play the Gangplank, but I'm gonna go with the guess that Haru is gonna grab this in the top lane. Basically, he just wants to farm a little bit for free, and be relevant. That was our criticizing towards Haru. He was too passive in his lane to the point where he was being irrelevant in the rest of the game. So by getting the Gangplank, you have the ultimate, you have that counter barrage to impact globally the game. So once something goes down the bot lane, pop counter barrage, you're instantly there. You're there in spirit. You're not there in person unless you TP, but at least your spirit and your helping hand is down there. And remember, it was that Gangplank start that started getting wins for Neon Esports. So I do like the pickup here for Haru.
Securing that one early on. It's up to Celestial Gaming to craft themselves a little bit of a response here, and the first part of that response will be that Jarvan, who I think is a fantastic answer in the jungle against that Gangplank. Get that early game jungler in who has the lockdown, has the cataclysm, and against the immobility of Gangplank, then it's going to be difficult for him to survive much attention being thrown at him by Dipsy. Now, second ban phase, Rek'Sai Gragas removed, as well as the double assassin with Zed and LeBlanc removed from Zandia, and there's going to be that Gnar. So Gnar Jarvan surely will be able to punish a Gangplank.
Oh, 100%. And there's also still the Renekton in. Nobody has picked this up. And I'm not sure you want to be picking up this Silas in the mid lane because recently he has received quite a few nerfs in his kit. And now he does get the shield in demand, sure, but it's only an AP shield. So if there's a Renekton on the other side, you're kind of losing the matchup by default because even if that wasn't necessarily an AP shield, a magic resist shield, Renekton can break up shields really easily. And we have seen Zandia played in the mid lane as well. This might be Silas jungle and Kiana in the mid lane for Yameru. What?
Or it could be a
Wait,
hover and the caster curse is real. So Warwick they slap a
wait,
Warwick into the jungle now. This is something we haven't seen a lot of. What do you think of
wait.
it?
This is something I've never seen in competitive play. I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
A
What?
Warwick? Yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense. I'm not going to overspeak. Perhaps I can't make sense of it out of it, but if you can't, then we're all
Wait, maybe
doomed, ladies and
Rain.
gentlemen. Our analyst
Maybe Rain makes sense.
is clueless. Brain, yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. Warwick jungle is most likely going to be the biggest bet there, and with that fear, obviously, and with the damage reduction onto your
And you
W,
know what?
uh,
These were the questions that were raised when we're talking about the patch changes and the champions being nerfed and the champions being buffed. We said that a champion to rise back up in the meta doesn't necessarily have to be nerfed or buffed. It's other things around the pool of that champion that get nerfed so the champion rises back up. So we talked about this. There's going to be a little bit of confusion getting into the 914 patch, guys, and until we see other regions playing, making a little bit more research into it, we are going to be able to see some of the very weird picks are coming out. And this is Press the Attack Warwick that we're going to see today.
which is
What?
interesting. I believe that Aftershock has been pretty popular, but there's a very aggressive start here. These early trades are extremely potent, and obviously Warwick is such a nice early clear, keeps himself healthy with that Q. And the dual potential also, remember, getting the attack speed when the target is below 50% HP, I believe, and then there's a second threshold, then at below 25%. So the amount of dueling is quite ridiculous. So we might see some early pressure by Rain going into Dipsy's jungle because they should be able to be pretty even while brawling it out. So it's not as if this Jarvan will push Warwick aside, I don't think. But touching on Yameru's Silas, I actually kind of like this because look at the amount of ultimates that you have here on to steal away from Celestial Gaming. You got the Gnar Ultimate, you got the Jarvan Cataclysm, you got Kiana's Supreme Display of Talents, you got the True Shot Barrage, you got the Box. So much utility, so much damage coming out of the Silas, especially with the buffed conversion ratios on your ultimate. So you gain more AP, or bigger AP ratios from converting them or converting enemy abilities here. And there's also been a little bit of damage increase on those Q chains. There's a little bit of alleviated wave clear coming in from the passive. So a lot of changes coming in, and Yameru's showing us that he's willing to pick this one up, but however, the ult increase later on, there's no longer going to be at, 12-second cooldown at a rank 3. Now it's up to 40. So you can only pick one of these, most likely.
I mean,
the hook comes in by Dipsy. He takes the hook across the wall, and he surely should die the first blood. Mystic Shot comes in, and it's Lil Ambivert who secures that one for Celestial Gaming off of the hands of an Esky hook.
Oh
the
no, Nian.
Disrespect from Azator.
He walks in there way too late, and Celestial Gaming are waiting hungry to get that kill. Not only do they get that kill, they burn his summoner spell as well. Dipsy is going to have a lot to say about this, and as you can see, he's starting topside. I'm smelling that this Jarvan might just move bot side quite quickly. And this is the question mark here, like, how quickly can this Warwick clear, and how quickly can he show presence in lane? Because Azator and Tiara are gonna be in really bad shape in the bot lane, because one of these hooks lands, you are kind of screwed. You could get solo killed. There's still ignite on that Thresh, and sure, you're running the exhaust and the flash, but that's not really gonna save you. Back to mid lane though, I believe that Kiana is one of the champions that loves to play the melee matchup. Her auto attacks deal a ton of damage, same as her Q. But you know what? Silas loves to play against melee matchups as well. So I do believe this is kind of a skill matchup we're seeing in the mid lane. Plus, sure, you do have your shield on demand right now with your Silas, and your wave clear has been, lowered quite a bit, but that doesn't stop his power of stealing the ultimate and trying to 1v1 the Kiana with her own ult, But what is a big factor is that later into the team fights, that Silas will not be able to cast 2 and 3 ultimates in a row. You're gonna have to choose wisely which one you want to team fight with.
Exactly, you have to be a little bit more wise in your decision making here, and not only does the magic damage shield do much early on, it doesn't do much against a melee AD damage bruiser assassin hybrid Dudette, which Zandia is playing here. So there you go. So I do believe that they'll be able to brawl it out to a quite large extent. Nice stun there, but these are the kind of trades that you want to go for as Zandia. You see the potential there from Yameru. Ignite is coming down by Zandia onto Yameru, but Yameru is fairly healthy still.
Oh my god, if that chain landed by Yameru right there, I don't think we would be saying the exact same thing right now, because we'd have
flash forwards. Watch this, Zandia, but what? Severely underestimates the healing from Yameru's Silas, which was buffed a couple of patches ago. It was down below 40% HP. He heals a truck load of HP back.
I don't think Zandia you're taking a tower hit. Yameru still has his ignite. He still has his flash. So maybe you wouldn't even manage to get a kill there, but you get killed instead. That is so not worth it for Zandia. So much pressure to Yameru.
You hate to see it, ladies and gentlemen. The overcommit. Hey, that I see myself in that play quite a bit there, at least. Hook almost lands there onto Azator. I would have been real spicy, but obviously Azator does have that spell shield, confident not to use it in that situation. And a CS lead for an Ezreal lane versus Sivir. Now, surely that's not what we are used to seeing here.
And that's because Azito lost his flash really early into the game, and you're playing
Oh,
against the Jarvan.
mid-fight.
So, oh,
Here
that's
comes
what we
Rain,
got.
flashes forward, gets the fear, and that fear lasts for a very long time. And the red buff is still ticking, and that's the explosion there, doesn't hit, but Rain doesn't have to hit it. Trapped between minions, but they don't block him completely, and that's
It's
a
the
sick
Warwick.
1-0. The Warwick is real.
The Warwick is real. He gets into the mid lane, grabs another kill, puts Zandia further behind. And I'm going to be honest with you, the second we see Kiana's getting, pushed back into the game, they never seem to be bouncing back. Like we said before, the only successful Kiana we have actually seen streamed on the tournament was in the hands of Yameru, and he was actually ahead when he managed to get that Kiana rolling here. That's another 0-2 Kiana, back in CS. He fancies getting another fight, but Yameru's life still in so much.
Yeah, the spell bump is quite insane, and the tradeback damage is there. There is, however, the issue that Silas's base damages don't scale that well, heavily reliant on building a lot of AP, which you don't tend to do. So it's gonna become a little bit more difficult for Yameru to continue staying inside of these fights the longer into the game we are, and it's gonna start leaning towards Zandia eventually. But a Kiana that falls behind early on, as you said, is not of much worth. High ping mid lane. Okay. Maybe that's why Zandia died twice. Oh, it's actually Yameru.
It's actually
Okay.
Yameru, I think. I'm gonna kind of touch on the fact that Silas does not do much damage, he has to build AP. I think Yameru is gonna go for the full AP anyway. I think that amplifying tome in there might or might not be a proto build first item for him. We usually see that, with a Warwick in there, with the addition of that tank front lane, you kind of see the difference between the composition we saw previously in the hands of MJ and now in the hands of Neon. So both Finnish teams, they both prioritize the Yumi, they lock it in. But the difference here is that you do have the front line, you do have the pseudo tank, and you've got a mid laner that heals so much. So your backline can actually be busy not be busy, dealing with anyone in their face, because you have an actual front line, and that Silas and Gangplank somebody's gonna have to deal with. But they're in the mid lane again.
They're trying to deal with it already. There's the flash extension on the Flag and Drag. Yameru gets knocked up, but Rain is being a pure annoyance and should be able to kill off Dipsy there. Maybe potentially a double kill. Gets the double. Does he have Q up? He finds the ultimate, heals back up. He's 1v3. Romero finds the knockup on the chain. Final chain is going to come in. Oh no, he's going to do shadow shots. Oh no, you hate to see it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Neon, however, on the backs of Rain's unconventional Warwick.
Wow, wait a minute. That heal was crazy. That was like the Aatrox we saw in the last game, and that Warwick 3-0. Rain is doing it yet again. We said how good Rain was at smelling these counter ganks, at being there for his mid laner when it counts. And we do know that Neon is playing around the mid lane because Yameru is the primary carry into your team. So getting that safe bot lane, not being too passive as well is great. And getting Haru on a scaling champion without necessarily having him being in danger, and also being able, to globally assist his team when it's available. I feel like they do have the recipe for success. All they need to do now is actually execute the plan. Oh, Haru?
It is Haru. Finds another 1v1 versus Dipsy. Has Cannon Barrage available, and that's all she wrote. So, with Rain being known for, as you said, his ability to sniff out ganks, it's very thematically appropriate that he locks in that Warwick who sniffs out people's low HP bars. So there you go. It all makes sense now. Hindsight is 2020, ladies and gentlemen.
That's an Eternal Drake.
Gnar ultimate up top lane completely whiffs, and Haru is he sees all these people throwing themselves at him and saying, hey, you know what? What you guys doing?
I'll take that. Exactly. I'll take that. I'll take the pressure. I'll take your whiffed ultimate, and then I'll just sit under my tower. I'm gonna farm, and I'm gonna be fine. And I think if he does last hit all of this CS, he must be ahead in farm as well. So everything going peachy for Neon. saying that,
Final
bro.
chapter comes in. There's the Flay. Ignite is down. Remember, this is a champion who doesn't tend to use flash, but it doesn't need to. The zoomies and the heal is enough movement speed to bring her away from harm's way. Perhaps a turret plate or two, though.
And you do see how a Yumi lane is literally not so safe. Like you say, yeah, Yumi has so much stuff. She has, you know, the ultimate. She's going to root you come to gang. She's got the heals. She's got the shields. But now, there's a
Warwick, Rain, he's here again. The Warwick early game is quite ridiculous. Little Ambivert is now suppressed off of that infinite duress there coming in from Rain. So forces the flash, and Rain is just everywhere. Meanwhile, on the mid side, whoa, the solo kill onto
Oh my
Yamaru.
God.
The stun into supreme display of talent. Bops Yamaru where he's stunned. Does not have a chance to heal him. And there you go. Zandia
Wait,
coming online.
the tables have turned. Zandia gets his revenge one-on-one on Yamaru. That must feel really good for him. On the other hand, though, Rain is doing Rain stuff. He's literally running down lanes, which we're very used to seeing him do. This is his type of playing the jungle. This is his type of ganking. Haru, though, has taken a little bit too much harassment in the top lane, and that is almost a mega nah. There's no flash on the nah, though, so it could be dangerous if you try to tower dive Haru, and Rain is right there,
again.
right now.
Fear comes in, and there's Kohlberg having to gnaw away. The stun is appropriate. Cannon Barrage cuts off the escape there, and it cuts off Zandia's entrance also. So nicely executed by that. And meanwhile, in the mid side, Zandia versus Yamaru. There's that ultimate steal. The hijack is real, but Zandia staying well away from any walls and buying lots of time for Dipsy to come and join him. And while all of this is going on, we've got actually watch Eski's flank there. Now he's not committing for it, but it's a top lane siege here. They're taking all the plates that they can get, and it's beautiful to see. But nice fight there between the mid
Yeah,
lanes.
bot lane is essentially 1v1, so Ambivert is gonna be fine down there versus Severe the Yumi, but Eski is still staying in the mid lane. He wants to make sure that Zandia is not going to die from any shenanigans from Rain, who is literally reigning over the entire Summoner's Rift right now. This Warwick play is pretty amusing to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
And also, what else is that I adore the synergy that he has with Tiara, right? Because you extend the range of your infinite duress with the amount of movement speed that you have. So putting that stuff like Yumi onto Rain, who's also more of a beefy character than a Lee Sin is. So it's going to synergize more even in that way also. So the Yumi and Warwick unconventional pairing there makes more sense perhaps than what you first might think when seeing the lock-ins.
Yeah, the cat dog potential there is pretty strong, as in, you know, you can actually chase down people as well. So once you pop your passive, your movement speed, Haru right there should be fine.
Should be fine.
So yeah, you put down your movement speed, and you also have the chase potential with the projectile from Yumi. So not only you get the extra movement speed, but you get the slow coming in from Tiara's Yumi as well, which is something I wanted to focus on, because if they actually manage to grab the Ezreal as well, you bet that Tiara would be on Rain the entire time, because Azita would be able to stay too safe with that Ezreal underneath the tower. But now with the Severe, you see what happens when Dipsy gets his hands on there.
Dipsy getting involved will be the key to Celestial Gaming grabbing themselves an early advantage here. The goal is pretty even so far, and apart from Rain being all over the place, it's been quite an even and slow and steady kind of ordeal here. Wait, hang on. They're sniffing danger. Oh no, are they trying to bait something out here? They didn't. Wait.
Oh no, don't do that.
They're coming in. Watch Eski. Catch them out. Box comes in. Play. Final chapter. There's a little ambivert. Perfectly timed, but it's actually Azor who picks up the kill. On to Eski here, but it's a return as ambivert kills off Azito in the top side. Watch the race car Warwick coming in, sniffing out Kohlberg. but they're not willing to tower dive, especially not with Coolbugs and Nara available once again. The cooldown on this thing is kind of silly.
Sure, but you don't really want to be diving a Mega Knight. He's got, the stance. But what you can do is drop down Shelly before 14 minutes and try to possibly get that top lane tower. I'm pretty sure Shelly destroys
TP.
3 tower platings at one charge. So that could potentially mean, top lane tower. Gonna be
Ultimate Infantryist is very huge there. Coming in onto Ambiva, locks him down, and you said the Rift Herald will be able to take some plates. Well, how about Rift Herald and 4 people charging up the top side, getting that first turret of the game?
And that all starts from the great trade of Azita in the bot lane. You get rid of one of these members and you do get the 1v1 and a 2v3 scenario against you. Azita has been caught though by Dipsy. Might have to flash here.
Flash forward,
Oh
flash
my
upward.
god.
Flag and drag. It's gonna get it. Wait, he actually gets some plates there. Meanwhile, as like just before. Oh, flag and drag misses.
No.
Gets it. He can't play around vision either. Oh, you hate to see it here. Can he get in? Spell shield is not enough. Cooper comes in with the teleport also. So actually, he does pick up the final place before, like I think it was like 1359 or something.
Worth, right?
Hella worth. Astor's happy with that, especially since his team is now going for that Ocean Dragon. But the capitalization by Celestial, they've got the positioning to try to perhaps contest here. Remember, Astor's down for some more time. Zanya's obviously dead, but there it is. Too much control.
Yeah, that would be a 4v4 versus the most fed member, which is Rain. And even though Azita is not really there, he's not very relevant yet. So having Rain right there with the Yumi on him is really strong. Plus, Dipsy was not in any healthy condition to try and contest that Drake and try to smite still. I think he would die in the process of getting there. That's another 1v1.
It is another 1v1. Zandia gets to jump onto Yameru, flashes across the wall, but there you have it. Zandia is absolutely online. The score says nothing. She gets to jump onto Yameru and forces him away. Priority way into the advantage of Zandia now.
And you can see the proper strength of Kiana. We said that we usually do not see assassins, bouncing back. But you guys need to remember, she's not really an assassin. She's a fighter. So if she does get that 1 or 2 kills, if you do get, some cheeky shutdown in there, it will put you back into the game. And this is exactly what we're seeing here by Zandia. Grabs 1 kill, but Haru fancies a 1v1.
He does, and he doesn't commit for it. He's not willing to use that cannon barrage. But, I mean, he's winning these trades quite handedly. So he's got that going for him, which is fantastic, right? Because your Gangplank needs to start coming online with that scaling. He's got that 24. Meanwhile, topside, flag and drag, Dipsy misses Yameru. Instead, it's Yameru who goes in. There's the Cataclysm hijacked away. And he gets the kill onto Dipsy. Meanwhile, Yameru's he's looking quite comfortable in that bush. And that's a 1-for-0 for
I
for
cannot
Neon.
believe the stun that Rain is pulling right now with his Warwick. And they want the Kiana as well.
He's going for it.
Oh
Flash for flash. I mean, that's pretty worth as long as he survives here, which he doesn't look to do. Wait, could perhaps go for a solo kill. Wait, he's running for... I mean, honestly, just continuing to auto-attack Eski could have probably given him a bigger chance than, running it towards Zandia.
I mean, when you're that far ahead, sure, you're going to run a little dance, but that's also, I think, about... 900 gold you gave over to the Ezreal, who's gonna go back and spend it and most likely, finish the gauntlet. And that's gonna be a big wound, finishing the gauntlet, because not only you get that extra armor that it gives you, but you're also slowing any member coming towards you. So this is gonna mean the Warwick actually reaching you is not going to be as easy as it has been for Rain so far. There you go. Not only he gets the gauntlet completed, but also buys the Catalyst. So he's pretty close to either the gauntlet or either the Blade of the Ruined King or the Gunblade, whichever he usually we see Ezreal's now going for the Gunblade and more of the AP oriented build after the Mana Moon and the gauntlet is completed. But we're gonna have to wait and see what Abivad feels comfortable building here.
That W scaling as well as your ultimate scaling on Ezreal. The AP ratios are quite silly, and the fact that they work on towers also adds to the value of building that extra little bit of AP. And yet another thing would be the fact that you've got a Jarvan, a Gnar, and a Kiana on your team. So grabbing that Ludens, grabbing that Gunblade's probably quite beneficial for you at this stage. Watch the duo roam now by Rain and Yameru. They're forcing forward, trying to catch someone out in their own jungle, scouting out a little bit and pressing advantages. Dipsy on the other side is way far away from being able to influence anything.
I
But
think he was
they
trying
can't
to do
find
the same.
anything.
He was trying to kind of catch somebody off guard in the enemy jungle, but like Rain and Yamero are trying to do the same simultaneously, so nobody found anyone in the end. I just want to focus on the fact that Haru is doing so great on that Gangplank. Trinity Force and Steroids completed right now, and I feel like this is the first Gangplank we see that gets ahead so early into the game, ahead in CS, ahead in kills and assists. He's been doing great. We said that all we needed from top lane was a little bit more proactivity, and he's giving it here. He is doing his absolute best in the top lane. Well,
And
in the bot lane now.
In the bot lane now. Speaking of Haru and just how well he's doing, take a quick little look at the gold lead. It's about to hit 2,400 gold ahead of Kuhlberg's Gnar. The scoreline doesn't say it, but his parley procs and all of that CS, the plates and everything, it's all adding up to this massive advantage. And Gangplank barrels later on will not only deal with the Gnar, it'll deal with your entire team. We're starting to see some grouping here around that second Infernal Dragon, which is going to be valuable once again for every single member of Neon, since obviously Yumi grants herself some nice advantages from added AP with the conversion rates on the you and me.
This is gonna be a brawl here, because if you are CG, you definitely don't want to give another Drake over to Neon, and if you're Neon, you're like, oh, hell yeah, another Infernal Drake, I will take
Dipsy?
that. Dipsy!
Gets paired up, Cataclysms, everyone. That's a huge Gnar ultimate, but Aoi Haru, we just talked about him. The AoE damage is quite insane, and that's 2 for 0 in favor of Neon as Rain
That's
kills
Rain
off
again.
Van. It's Rain again. This man is huge on his 7-1-2 Warwick. He grabs that Infernal Dragon. It's the second one of the game, and they're looking unstoppable.
I mean, I don't really know again what Warwick is meant to do in this meta and how he works and why he's back up, or if that's something that Rain just fancied playing for this game, but it's doing an incredibly amazing work, and paired up with the Yumi, it has such good synergy at chasing people down.
It's very true. We haven't necessarily seen it too much in the meta, but you know what? The meta is being crafted right in front of our eyes, because surely teams will have to pay attention to this Warwick pick. Celestial Gaming obviously in last place with Neon, I believe, at 2-1 at the moment. So perhaps they're doing something I mentioned earlier on, which is bring out this pick, show other teams that you are willing to play it, and have them being forced to focus on the fact that you might bring it out. So perhaps it's meta in the writing, or perhaps they're just playing around with what should be considered as a slightly worse team.
Yeah, or you're just, exactly like you said, or you're trying things out against the team you feel comfortable, you know, trying it out, and then you're like, all right, so if I get you to ban my Warwick because you can't play against it, something else that has been banned from you before, which you think is crucial to be banned, is gonna be left out, and we're gonna pick this up instead and beat you in another one of our tactics. So it could be a tactic here from Rain to try and see if he can get, you know, the Warwick ban so he can grab something else for himself or for his team instead. But so far, everything has been going pretty textbook from Neon. They're about, 5,000 gold ahead. They're doing great. They're setting up for Baron already, and they've got everything they need to start getting that Baron down.
They've got all of the vision control, all of the priority right now. Apart from Yameru losing fights onto Zandia,
Oh, here we go.
They're feeling good. Whoa, look at that Warwick. That's the great thing about Warwick here, is that you follow dashes over walls, gets that quick double kill because of a perfectly Perfectly timed Jaws of the Beast coming in clutch, and that opens up even further Baron priority.
Hey, who said dogs and cats cannot be friends, right? The synergy is actually insane here. Yamaru fancies himself a heal, but Deep Sea does not feel like donating, or is he?
The hijack of that Cataclysm forces Dipsy away, but he doesn't have to get the kill here. Yamaru only wants to buy enough freedom for his team to get this Baron buff. He's going down way slower than I first expected. I don't think Ambiver will be able to approach here, so it's a 3k HP. Should be picked up here, and there we go. Oh, a nicely timed mystic shot. Has to flash away though for that attempt, but that is Baron going over at the hands of Neon Esports at the 23rd minute.
Wow, and that is actually crazy. We've seen very early Barons happening, and look at how much pressure that gives Harrow, because he already had the lane pressured towards Hulberg down the bot lane. Now they want to reset and go again. And I'm gonna say it again, Rain is unstoppable in this game. I can't say the same about Harrow though, because he has been caught.
Oh. I mean, Harrow's pretty strong still. We talked a little bit about the gold lead. It's continuing to balloon. It's now at 3,500 gold over Kulberg. So, I mean, unstoppable is a relative term. He's even 1,500 gold ahead of his jungler, right? So, the scoreline isn't necessarily everything. I feel like the team overall is in a great spot with the wave clear from Sivir, with the hijacks and brawliness of Yamaru. Obviously,
I thought KDA made you a better player.
I mean, that's maybe in your games, Trouble. That has no place in the Nordics.
All right, I will respect that. I'll respect that. Harry, though, trying to keep his tower alive or not, trying to get a kill, forces his tower to go down. And that is the first tower actually going down for Celestial Gaming. Rain, though, might fancy himself a little chase. Still Baron buff on all three members, and all three lanes are being pushed simultaneously, which means wherever there is a hole, Digi are going to make a move.
But it doesn't create enough distance to force him away from Dipsy. Beautiful boomerang blade comes in onto Eski, kills him off. That is the supreme display of talent, but it doesn't catch anyone. Kulbak has red buff running on him, I believe. Aww. There it is. Double kill for Azitor. So, one step forward, two steps back for Celestial. I should say one step forward, 5 steps back, as they're going to lose their
Rain doesn't stop.
Inhib and Zandia. I don't think you could 1v5. They could potentially go for the finish. They've got that Baron buff on themselves still.
I think they can finish. 5 minutes. And it's only Eski that's coming back up.
Only
10
Eski.
seconds for the ADC.
So it's Eski and Zandia. Haru is buying time, but look at the barrel damage. It's absolutely crazy. Eski is a one-man army, but the army is starved, depleted, and not very well equipped as Neon Esports take down Celestial Gaming off the hands of a Warwick.
All I'm gonna say is that dogs rock in this game. Like, if you play Corgi, you win. Apparently, if you play Warwick, you win. Because it's so good. At least it looks so good in the hands of Rain. 11, 1, and 3. This guy was unstoppable. Every single lane, everything went correct for Neon Esports. And they executed the strategy to a T. They did not leave any room for breathing to Celestial Gaming. And any kind of gank that Deep Sea tried to pull off or counter gank, Rain was there to shut it down once again, because he's really, really good at sniffing those counter ganks.
He shut him down a big time. I mean, Rangers had so much freedom in this game. He was seemingly everywhere to apply pressure. It was top side, it was mid lane, and he ran away with it. So there were some shining points there, obviously with Zandia coming in on that Kiana, getting that 1v1 versus Yamaru. But apart from that, this was all the Neon show. And they want to distinguish themselves from the middle of the pack, because obviously with the win here, it secures them at 3-1, which is only 1 game away, or 1 game under the teams that are tied for first right now, which is Ventus and Falcon. So that would put Neon in an amazing spot.
And you don't want to be losing against the teams that are all the way down the bottom of the scoreboard, because then all the other teams that have beat them, then they're going to be one step ahead of you. So you definitely want to make sure that you are beating every team that's in the standings below you right now, because everyone wants to fight for that place in the playoffs. And you definitely want to start securing it right here and right now.
There's no room for error, indeed, especially in a single round robin 9 game round, right? Where every game matters so much. And securing this one is huge. Now we'll have to see if they can close it out in the second game of the match, I should say, against Celestial Gaming. Will Celestial Gaming's tendencies handicap them enough for Neon to strike in a 2-0, or will they bounce back in game number 2? It's a cliffhanger, ladies and gentlemen, and these odds are the only things away from you and the answers to those questions. We'll see you in a bit.